You can hear me now? You can? Man, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's still, for some reason, saying that I have a programmed live feed up in the top. And it doesn't make any sense. Ah, jeez, this is ridiculous. This is the shit that make me not want to do YouTube ever. So, yeah, I have some other shit I have to do here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my rigging box. So there's a lot of rigging stuff that I use, and if somebody's not familiar with it or want opinions on certain things, it's a good opportunity, but I need to check everything. I've been doing a few jobs where it's like you're cleaning stuff up and it's dark, so a lot of stuff just gets thrown back in here and doesn't get used all the time. I try to circulate through the stuff, but you know how it is. Shut up. Jesus Christ. Alright. Appreciate that text message, though. If it wasn't for that, I would have not known. That kind of sucks. Yeah, so I would say my most, like the thing that I use more than anything is always, it's between this and the maze dam rope puller that pulls the stems over, trees over. This is the original GB bollard that I got a long time ago, and I still use it on the daily. What's nice about this one, it's a flat back. It's got this rubber stuff onto it. Yeah, I know you get to that point, but I wish I wouldn't choose the worst time of the year when it's like freezing and stuff. Like, it's cold right now. I got this little heater trying to heat this room. But so the old one, flat backed, isn't as aggressive to a tree. I mounted this little bit of rubber on here. I need to glue it back down. Oh, a rock was behind it. And you just take your ratchet straps, link them in right there on each side, go around the tree. What I like to do when I mount these, though, is I'll take a little ratchet strap, which of course I probably won't have one in here because I said something. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. It should be in here though. There's so much, there's rigging stuff I totally forget about. That's crazy. Wow. So yeah, a lot of times I'll take one of those little skinny ratchet straps, even if it's like the progress capture ones, the little ones, and I'll sling it around the tree real quick and cinch it up and leave it a little loose. And then I'll take this, and since these things are heavy, it's hard to like attach. I'll hook it up onto that strap, and that strap will hold it onto the tree as I hook the big ratchet straps up to this. So you could use like an adjustable lanyard like this too, if you wanted to. Where's that at? Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that, but you could definitely just use like an adjustable lanyard. I think I have an old one in here. Like this. That's not an adjustable lanyard. What the hell? See, there's stuff I forget about. Look, I have a safe block, and I never use it. Yeah, an adjustable lanyard, which I thought I had one just in here. I probably do. It's just further down in the box. But you could take and adjust it out to where the clip was just kind of hanging down and like clip that on too. I've seen people use like a strap with a carabiner and just holds it into place so you can really get this down and get it pressed against the tree really good. This one doesn't really, it bites the tree really good because of the prongs here, and it doesn't do like this one, which is a bigger version. and it's more aggressive. Like it won't, the chance of it going up the tree is slim to none. And so removals, I'm using this. When I don't have to do removals and I'm like using a neighboring tree or something, I don't want to mess that tree up. That's when I'll use the flat back. And it's really nice. You could use the aggressive one. Just get a big like rubber mat or something, or I don't know, take a bicycle tire and cut a couple strips where it's going to sit. You could figure out a couple things to do. So most important, GB bollard, and this thing, which is a Mazdam rope puller. I know you see these, like you can see them in like Walmart and stuff. They have the ones that are the cable, and it's got the little pulley thing on it. Those things I don't like because you only get so far. And a lot of times when you set a rope up in a tree, you sit there in pre-tension for a long time before you actually get that rope to be straightened out and tight. Where with this one, it runs a 1/2 inch rope. I think it's designed for 3-strand rope, but I use a 1/2 inch 12-strand and a hand ascender because it exits right here, or no, it exits here. So it goes in your ring here, around the pulley, back through here, and we'll use like a hand ascender and clamp it on, and it will work like an e-brake. So if it was to start slipping, the hand ascender doesn't let it, it can't slip. We really used this the other day when it was cold, and I'm surprised we didn't break teeth on these with what we were doing. So I used to have like 3 or 4 of them, but I sold them. So I have 2 of them now that I keep on me at all times. End up taping the handle when you get them because the handle slides off, especially when the metal gets cold and stuff. Or I think it originally happened when it was really super hot out. Thing near impossible to get on. Okay. Alright, so right here I have the notch safe block. So this must have been right after Notch took it over because it actually says X-rigging ring above it. And I don't even think the new ones say that. I ended up making my own sling out of some 5/8 bull rope. And yeah, that's what I ended up coming up with. I think that double the fisherman knot, maybe it's not a double. I think I got corrected last time about that. But I end up using the fisherman knot on it. And then I can take this out. And originally, I like to keep, so I bought a bunch of rings because I want to be able to, if I needed to base anchor this, I could attach this to the end of a regular climb, like a regular rigging line. And like, use it like a huge sling. And base anchor it to the tree. And then tie it and pull it back up. Make like a false crotch in the tree. I like being able to pop these, adjust these out. And be able to use it and check it. So yeah, the safe block I've rigged using the center things too. I want to try it like this and run it through there. I wonder what that would do. I'm tempted now. Like you just hold it in a basket configuration where it goes up. I'm gonna do something like that just for entertainment purposes. So I'm gonna keep that out because of that. I don't like that tri-block. Like I don't like the weird, like I don't know. Those sharp turns on that rope seem weird to me, like going sideways at points. But actually I think so the company, there's another company, so these are your original well, maybe not your original, but this is Notch. Notch took over most of the, I think, manufacturing or all of X rings. So originally they were called X rigging rings. I think David Driver or something like that is the one that came up with them. So I have one sling from All Gear, and the reason I got this sling, it was one of the ones I got after I bought my other ones. I bought some single large rings, B string, safe block, and then I made my own stuff. So, but I wanted a retrievable set, so I ended up buying this, and then I realized you can make your own retrievable set pretty easy. So this is just all gear rings. They definitely wear easier, and they're not oxidized as good, I don't think. They just seem to get beat up a bit easier. The sling itself, really good. The sleeve stayed in place really good, which I usually hate these sleeves. It's never gave me problems when I retrieve it or anything. What's nice is you can take like a 1/2 inch rope, like this one here, with this set, and retrieve this by just tying a simple overhand knot. So as long as you get your overhand knot dressed like that, it goes through the big one pretty easy and grabs that little one, and gave me a retrievable set. If you've never set a set of rings from the ground, that's a pretty simple process. In my opinion, it becomes easier than setting a cambium saver or a friction saver because it's bigger. That's a little harder to get everything up there, but it works easier in my opinion, like a little smoother than it does with a cambium saver. Like trying to pull a rope up through the ring afterwards, after you set the ring, getting the rope back in isn't as hard as it is with like a cambium saver, so I kind of like that. Oh, no problem, Daniel. But these are really, really good to have. I would recommend. I think, I don't know price points anymore, but at the time, All Gear no one would use All Gear when I bought these. They said they were for utility workers, line clearance, and now a lot of guys kind of do All Gear and sell All Gear and stuff. But so you have your All Gear beast and large ring, or large and medium ring. Then you start to get into a ring company that I haven't had as much time on, but I'm really, really liking this company. And the company's name's Tylaska. I believe it's a US, yeah, it's from Tylaska, USA, it says. But American made. I back that fully. These are called the TR20s, and what's really nice about these slings, I wasn't sold on this when I first seen it. Like, I'm like, it's kind of a short sling. It's not very big. It's plenty big enough. And what's nice about this is you don't got to sit there and wrap it and tie it and stuff. If anybody has issues with that kind of stuff, like wanting to know how to set rings in trees and stuff with slings, like I could show that. I have a little tree out there I could pull in that's on a mount, but you can just take these and pick what pocket works the best for the size tree that you're using. Then you have all the excess. I prefer to wrap the excess above it and then tuck the tail in, because if you start wrapping below it, it's just your ropes are gonna rub it, and it's gonna end up cutting one of these pockets. But you got, on this sling, you have one, and that pocket's always quite a bit bigger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, and this is a I was trying to see what size, how long this sling is. Oh, it's going to be a 8 to 9 foot, I guess, but you're going to get use out of 8 foot, 7. No, I said 8 foot. I looked, it's about as tall as me. I'm like 8 foot, maybe 6 or 7 foot worth of it. So these are really nice. I at one point used these and made a retrievable set, but it's a little iffy. Like, you can set stuff up and turn this into like a different device if you wanted to by using these pockets, but it doesn't orientate the best. But yeah, there's Tylaska rings. I really like them. The coating on these is really good too. And plus, look at this. Look at the thickness in the ring. So these are carved out of a solid block. And you see the thickness difference? Quite a bit. The Tylaska rings are much thicker. What'd you say there, Daniel? Sorry. No problem. What up, John Bob? I spent a week in rigging class. Did you? Oh shoot, you don't want to hear this then. But yeah, these are, even the Tylaska, I think it's thicker than the safe block, even. So really nice. That thickness is just going to give you a little better bend radius on these. And just heads up to newer guys, bend radius is important. If you have any imperfection in that rope, and sometimes an imperfection can be inside that rope, not on the outside, when you take that rope over a sharp bend radius with weight on it, it can explode. So bend radius is a little more important than guys give it credit these days. They just instantly say, oh, the rope must have been bad. No, you probably just, a lot of times you put it in too sharp of a bend. So I showed you the bollard. Look at this thing. This is well. Oh, of course. And on top of it, here's that old school adjustable lanyard I was talking about. Damn it. See? So you could take this thing, adjust this out around the tree, which is nice. Even if it's your climbing one, and get it around and clip it in to like the ring part here. Have that hanging down and hold that. And then you can tighten it if you need at this. This is also, remember I showed you guys the trick to have like a drift away redirect. So I just made a big version of this, is what I did, and with like a shackle towards this end, and you can adjust this, and as you're swinging a piece a long ways away, you can cinch this up around the limb right below the cut, and then hook this on, and you can decide how far away from it you want it to go. So if the swing is, let's say you got a 15-foot swing before it gets underneath the rigging point. Well, it's going to go that 15 feet, then it's going to travel probably another 12, and then come back. Well, you can take this thing and put it below the cut, anchor it, hook it up onto the rigging line, and as you go to shove the piece off, you can adjust this to have it go, what, 3 foot away? Or depending on how big you make this, you can have it go 6 foot away. And then you've like completely dialed in your rigging point to what you want. I'm going to make one of these that's on a much bigger scale with a rigging ring, because I just feel like I would use it if I did. So I got some 5/8 or some 9/16, probably 9/16, and I'm going to make a really big version of this that the problem is, I'll think about that later, but I'm going to make a big version of this. Maybe I'll just make it so you can just clip because if you had this here, you could actually take something like a block and anchor that, and then just clip the block to it to the rope there, and then it'll go away into like a pulley or something. So maybe a little block is the ticket, and then you just take the other clip off and just leave that on an open span there. You can anchor that one and then pulley this one, and plus it'll be midline attachable and stuff. Yeah, that's what I end up doing. So yeah, adjustable lanyard, old school version. Some of you guys probably have never even used these, which is crazy to me. But if you've never had your fingernail turn black because you threw one of these around, you're missing out on life. Let me tell you, if you've not hit your knuckles when they're cold with one of these, I question how you're living. These are experiences that I wish everybody could have. So, always a good little thing to have. Yeah, check this out. So, a homemade quarter wrap. Look how long that thing is. That's what she said. Really. Look how long. See, it's bent. This thing got ran over. It has seen so much chaos. I painted it one time and then painted it again and didn't let it dry enough. So like, there was one day we used it and it just like stuck. And it was like mush. Trying to get, yeah, it was bad. I'm not a painter, let's just say that. So this old man that was a welder welded this together for me a long time ago. And yeah, I mean it works. It's just a big quarter wrap. What about rope? I scare my check for the beaner. Put my face in. Oh no! That sucks. No way, John. That's no cool. Nope. Yeah, carabiner. I've had bloody nose. I end up with a black eye. I got a black eye one time from a throw ball too. I hit myself right in the junk one time and like almost thought about not like just going home. It was stuck and I pulled it and it went so far and I was like, oh, and I stupidly was like gonna be the cool cat. Every time I've ever caught the throw ball with my hand, when it gets stuck and I pull it back out, I use a 12 ounce and it always bruises my palm. Every time I catch it, never fails. Bruises my palm I do it every time. Without thinking. But this time it was coming straight for me and I seen it for so long and I just thought I was gonna cool guy it and catch it and I missed it and it just hit me, took my feet out from underneath me and I was like laying on the ground and I felt like afterwards I looked like one of those guys that's trying to fake it. That's how bad it hurt. I just laid there and kicked. Yeah, no, John, yeah. Don't try to stop it with your foot. You end up with a damn jammed up broke toe or something is what'll end up happening. Yeah, I get that, Bert. So, Daniel, I get that. What up, Bert? I think it was Bert that came in here. Yeah. Let's take it with your head, yeah. Dude. Yeah, that's no good. So I got a couple blocks. These usually end up getting used for redirects. So when I'm hooking up the maze dam, trying to get it set up, I'll usually use one of these to give that perfect rope angle. I like to keep multiple extra slings in here so I can, like I said, I can take a safe block and put it onto this sling, which is adjustable and just out. These are really nice to have because you can put different things onto them. A lot of guys use them for their quarter wrap. I'm using it in this particular situation here. I am just using it for for an anchor for the aerial friction brake. So this is a really cool device. I've showed you pulleys, I've showed you rigging rings, but if a pulley and a rigging ring had a threesome with a porter rat, the bastard like demon seed that would come from it would be the aerial friction brake. So this thing is square. It's got these prongs into it. So they say that the square, it works really, really good. I like it for, like if I was a bucket operator guy, this is the key, because you can go right there to your cut. I've rigged massive blocks and like tops and stuff right off of itself with this. But the problem with it is you're setting your friction in the device. Those three prongs, you can't like be on the other side of the tree and be like, hey, let's use 2 prongs this time. That's not the way this works. You take your rope and you set it to the friction that you want before you hook it up. So you can take 1 wrap on that and like go down the middle. You can do 2 wraps. So I would use the outside ones. 1 there. Oh, you bastard. So you leave that middle one open, or you can use 3 and wrap around all 3, which is a lot of friction, especially when you're going off these like square bends. It gets pretty rough and like pretty tight on the rope. So this thing would hold a lot of weight. It's just the problem with it as a climber is you're forced, now when you pull that rope up, you have to pull it up with that much friction. And that's something you don't think about when you're doing it originally. Like you set it up, you're like, this is nice. But then when that ground guy's got to pull that rope back up, he's got to pull it through 3 wraps. And it is super hard to pull up. I think the squareness to it allows it to get a little smush into the rope to get even more friction on certain points. So 1, 2, 3, 4 points on it, as opposed to something round. It's constant. These are like certain points in the rope is a little more friction than others. So I think it's a good device. I think it didn't get much love, and it's just oftentimes when you need the 3 wraps though, unless you're trying to do a big huge limb, you're usually using the 3 wraps on like rigging out chunks, big heavy chunks. So you will be right there by it. But I would say for a bucket operator, this is an amazing rigging piece. I would recommend, if you run a bucket a lot, this is the ticket. That's when I feel like I probably used it more than any other time, and why I got it is at that time I was with somebody that had a bucket. So yeah, these adjustable slings are really nice. I've got it adjusted down, but it goes very, very long, these loopy slings. But I'm using the adjustable end to anchor the aerial friction brake off. I could open that up here, take that out, and then this thing goes, I don't know, it gets pretty stupid big. So I see a lot of guys use these with their porter wraps and stuff, and I could see why. You know, you need something that adjusts out quite a bit. That loop in that ends up getting pretty big. Run it through, make sure it's good. Yeah, so it comes up to there. So then your sling ends up, you know, so much bigger. That's what's nice about this thing. You can adjust it out to whatever length you need. That's why it's really good for the porter wrap. quarter wrap, what's nice about it with this is that you have this other stationary end here that's got the the other stationary end here that's got the loop here, and you just very quickly can hook your quarter wrap up, and then you can adjust it out on the other end to however long or wide or whatever the tree is. So these are really nice. I would recommend having one in your rigging gear. I use mine quite a bit, especially if I want to change something up. But yeah, definitely worth having. Though I would say I found like 50 different uses for it, so I'm sure you would too. Aerial friction brake, old quarter wrap. What else? Oh, we still got some big rigging stuff. I have another ratchet strap, another set for the bollard. So I have two of the bollards here, so I need a ratchet strap for each one. Okay, here's a really good tool to have. So for speed line straps, I still say this is the best molly that you can buy. So what's nice about this thing is you can hook all these up, hook all your speed line straps up real easy. I gotta switch a couple straps out because I nicked them, my main rigging ones. So you hook all these up, and what's nice about this setup, see, look at this old split tail one that I use. I bought a guy's rigging gear. This was his climbing split tail, so speed line strap. Now so not only do you have the one end to be able to get it, you can get up there, and when you pull it up, you can take it and hook it up on a branch, do what you got to do, and then when you need to pull it off, take it with you. So it's kind of nice. If you got it stowed back there, you can just pull it out and put it somewhere so you can get to everything really quick. A lot of times I'll have it hooked up, and then when I know where I'm getting to where I'm going to be clipping a bunch of them, I'll reach up a few limbs and hook it up there, and then reach up, start grabbing what I need, and then I can hook stuff up. But yeah, it's just a simple S-beaner that I think I probably got at like a Lowe's or something, honestly. But yeah, really nice. I like these. I keep some little things like this for days when you hit the bucket, or if somebody needs one. I actually need to get this and give it to my cousin. Tell him he needs to start wearing it. But yeah, umbilicals. In a pinch, I could use it for other stuff, but I've never needed to. It just sits in the bottom here. So then I got quite a few more of these ultra slings. Like I said, I wasn't really an advocate for them because I didn't really know the usefulness of them. But then when I got my first one, yeah, I was sold. So haven't had to rig in a while, really. Yeah, rigging's tricky because it's like, yeah, it's hard to figure out. It's hard to explain these kind of things to a guy. Like, with this setup here, I'll tell you how many wraps, because you can do that as a climber. But explaining how to let something run involves so many parts, because like, I'm going to cut the piece. The piece often is going to free fall before it ever does anything. Then it's going to hit the rope tension, and then you're going to get a feeling in the rope where the rope's going to want to move. So like, it's all about timing, and like, some guys are so focused on that porter wrap or that bollard. That's why I think a bollard is the easiest if you're teaching a guy. So much easier, simple to hook up. A porter wrap, you gotta like double the rope, put it back over, and things can be set up wrong. It's, if you think about that, say you've never done tree work before in your life, you've never done anything, you don't know anything. Your first day, you show up, you're intimidated as it is, because this is a gnarly, sketchy job. You have no knowledge, and a guy walks up to you and says, this thing's hanging on the ground like this. He tells you, okay, every time, what I want you to do is I want you to lift this thing up. I want you to take this rope, double it, put it through, put it around this back lead, and then wrap it however many times he tells you. That's one, that's two, that's three, here's a half. There's so many steps right there that a guy is like, so I gotta lift it up and then double the rope and then put it and then pull it. So with a bollard, quite a few steps are eliminated. Now I can tell him from the tree, you're gonna rig from the right side or the left side, because if my rigging point's over here, we're gonna rig from this side, because when the rope's in there, it's going to be pulling this way. It can't come out. If he hooked up over here, the issue with that is that the rope can come out, because the rope's going to be kind of pulled this way. So you got to choose the right side. That's it. And then always start from behind the bottom pin. That's it. This thing is stationary to the tree. It's not going to move. You don't have to do anything. And then it's simple. There's a full wrap. There's two wraps. It just simplifies a bunch of it for a guy. Not to mention this porter wrap. See how small it is? It's so, the bend in that rope is so tight, it starts making pigtails in the rope. And it can get jumpy and like get stuck and hit a guy's hand, suck his hand into the bollard doesn't. So yeah, I love how the bollard is so simple, so easy to teach, because the focus then goes on to the, because I had to think about this, because it aggravated me trying to teach people too, like, why are they not getting this? Well, learning how to just run a porter wrap is probably enough for the first day for a guy. Then learning how to like get good at it, then you've got to involve the piece. That's why I think I see so many guys when they're rigging, it's just slam, it just hangs there. Then all of a sudden later they start to lower. I mean, if you're in a bucket, you don't have to feel that. So be it. I mean, I used to just hang trees, dog leash them. If I don't have to feel it, I'm whatever, get her done. But yeah, I think it's hard on a new guy, and I didn't give it enough credit. There's a lot of detail in that. That's why I feel like an actual tree guy that's had to experience that ride and stuff, put him on the ropes. He knows what that piece is about to do, because every time when he makes that cut, it makes that free fall, he experiences that insane jerk and stuff. Like, guys don't consider, like, after you figure out the porter wrap, then your focus is now up here. And what you have to explain is, like, there's a branch or a section I'm going to rig. It is going to travel to the rigging point. So wherever the rigging point is, this piece has to go there. So it may have overswing, backswing. Now, are we above the piece? Or are we below the piece? Because then a whole bunch of other things come into it. So yeah, rigging's tricky. And a guy that can do it can make a climber look amazing. And a guy that doesn't know how to do it can really make a guy look like he doesn't really know what he's doing. But yeah, it definitely takes some time, and it's tricky. I don't think over my career I didn't give it enough credit. You know, I was just the cocky climber that was like, why don't they get it? So I try not to be like that. Plus, I had trouble teaching people. So, um, I showed you this little trick I used. I used vegetable rubber bands. So that pocket there's a little big. I like for me to be able to open it and the pulley not fall off. So I'll take vegetable rubber bands and attach them up above it, and it just pinches the piece together, keeps it on the porter or the I guess bollard of the pulley, and makes it easy to use throughout the day. So it's on another one of them ultra slings, which they're super nice. Got one more sling here. This is another notch, but the silver version, also on a pocket sling. You can set these up to do that drift redirect too. You know, you just set a bunch of slack into the piece. So you're cinched up, and then you run your rigging rope through it, and then when it goes, you know, it hooks up, and then you can always just drop this down as you're doing chunks. Yeah, these are really nice. Like I said, I didn't give them too much mind originally when they came out. I had ways of doing it, so I didn't really need it. But there's another thing I think is good to have, which is a big deadeye sling. So this is just basically a straight deadeye sling. This works really good for the porter wrap. It's a big sling with a loop. I also will sometimes use this for the safe block. Put it on with a fisherman knot, and then you know, I have at the other end to put it through. I can adjust this out however I need. A lot of times with these, I'll take this and have a little setup here that I can make, and it's like multiple use. So with these rings, what's nice is I have some here, like I said, that I prefer, and I got them loose. So with things like this, it's another one of the rigging rings. I can adjust that out, take that out. That one's taped up, I don't want to do that. Let's see, let's take it off this one. But take like the B string off of this, and I can hook it up wherever I want on this thing, and just adjust the knot out to work wherever I need. Kind of roll it into it so it stays snug. So that's doing it with a circus knot, which usually I would use that fisherman knot, but a circus knot, put it right in the middle. It's very snug. The B strings have a good channel on them, so you could do stuff like that. But you could set this up, work this the whole time, a single ring, and then if one point you decided I want to make these retrievable, you could then just attach a single ring onto this end, a small one, do your knot like a fisherman knot, and then now you have a retrievable sling that you can get back to you. So a deadeye sling, like I was saying, just comes in handy in a lot of different little situations. Not even just rigging up in the tree, you know, attaching the porter wrap, redirects on the ground. They're just really nice to have. I think it's probably a 15-foot deadeye sling. Comes in handy a lot. Now I think I have like almost every version of ring that there is. This one may be my favorite one I've ever put together. So what happens with this is I get this setup can be retrievable because it's got a single ring there, but it's even better. So what I do with this Let's say I hooked it up here. I was gonna hook this ring up on here. I'll move you. Shoot. Alright, my bad. Still there? Okay. Alright, so if I was going to hook this up, we'll use the punching bag as the tree. So this ring is here for me to set a knot. And I could hook it up like that, or I could do like a timber hitch. So what I would do is just hook it up like this. You could use an alpine butterfly. I just prefer that circus knot. It's just nicer for me to tie and untie, in my opinion. So then when you go to put that around, I made it way too short. But you would take it around. Blow it out a little bit. Let's do this. The ring helps you get a real loose kind of bite on that. That way when the weight drops into it, it bites down even harder, which is really nice. So I'll just do it. We'll do it here at the very end. We can make sure it's going to be big enough. Like I was saying before, you could do whatever knot you want. Alpine butterfly works. See, this will go around. I don't know if the damn thing's long enough, actually, if I'm being honest, but it goes around and it hooks up onto the ring here. I'll show you it as it's set up, which just makes, like, I started messing with it to where I wanted the cleanest setup too as I hooked it up. And you can set it up like that, and then you always have the extra ring there, and it'll bite perfect. You can set it off against the rigging a little bit so that when it goes, it bites down real hard. Now you have this set up, and then you could switch it. Say you were good there, you think you don't really need that, you could take that off, and then go ahead and take this ring and set it up and make this a retrievable rigging ring setup like the all gear rings really easily by just using that same thing, you know, circus knot or an alpine butterfly, whatever one you prefer. And now you've made yourself a retrievable ring sling out of the same thing that you can droop up over and then run it in, which is really nice to be able to do. So that's why originally I started using this and keeping it on there, but then I started, you know, making it where I was using like timber hitches and stuff to hook it up, and it just made it so clean, and I was like, well, I kind of like that. So the way you do it, you just keep it loose on the sling. Again. How did I do that? What the hell did I just do? Oh, my bad. Keep it keep it up by the ring here, and then you can take it through, and then it allows you, especially when you're doing like timber hitches, you can really get that to bite down and start doing your wraps when you got the ring. And just keep wrapping, keep wrapping, keep wrapping. Depending on which direction you're about to put the weight into will depend on what direction you want to do the wraps. I should have done them the other direction, but I'm standing above it. So yeah, and then it hooks up like that. Really simple to undo. And you always have that additional ring there to give you some options with this. Even though this is enough to be able to rig off of technically, I like having the option of that other ring there. And like I said, it makes for a very, very clean setup. Not to mention, this is another sling that I came up with. It just opens up. It's basically a dead-eye sling on some like 9/16 10x, or maybe it's 1/2 inch or 5/8, or I don't even know. But yeah, it hooks up really nice, really simple. Keep the other ring on there, and it makes for a really good little sling setup that gives you options. You know, with those two right there, you have tons of options. And you can kind of do whatever it is you want. And you're not kind of limited there. So that's nice. That may be my favorite setup because of the options out of everything that I got. But, you know. So then, okay, I was going to say I'm missing one. Here's another one. We're doing rigging. Well, let me finish with rigging rings. I have more. So that's a lot. I have a lot of rigging rings. This one was sent to me by the company. So this is a Benrite rigging ring. It's actually 2 rings made into one so that you get a good bend radius. Where your issues, you end up with issues when you're doing the single ring. You don't end up with that when you're using this. So there's your single ring. There's your Alaska ring. So it is legitimately 2 rigging rings made into one. I don't see these used much anymore. I don't know what happened, but and it's kind of hard to tell sometimes that a guy's even using them. But I believe Canadian company originally, and they're great. These are really, really great. So the issue when the company sent me this is they said we are having issues getting our slings across the border, so we can send you the ring, but we can't send the sling. And they was like, we could try and then send it later. I was like, oh, I'm good. Just, yeah, the ring, I'll put it through its paces. So they sent me this some years back. It's been quite a long time now. And I instantly thought about a loopy sling. And I was like, a loopy sling, when you girth hitch something, like we do here with this one, with the B-string, you end up with 2 strands of rope. So I'm like, that shouldn't be an issue. So I got a loopy sling, which is exactly what this is. And I left the sleeve on there because it bites a little more. So look at, you have this. I was trying to figure out, how do I do this? How do I do this? I took like a strap like this and originally girth hitched it and was like, that kind of works. Then this hit me. So look how nice this sets into there. Take it. Each one of those strands fits down into one of the channels, and this makes it just over to where it becomes a single rope on an anchor side. So basically the sleeve ends up being a full protector on the ring, and you get an absolutely perfect fit. I've never seen it slip at all. And now you go get yourself an adjustable sling like this, and you have a perfect bend radius for doing big rigging. So I called them and was like, hey, or maybe they just we commented on IG or something, and I let them know what I did, and I made some videos, And I think now they may be doing this. The company may have moved to this even. Because not only is it easy to set up, I can inspect, which you can't do when they're made onto a sling a lot of times. So alright, so bend right rigging ring, Canada, I think. So here is, this one says it too. Which one was it? So I had rigging rings before they said notch. Yeah. So they just say X rigging rings. They don't say nothing about notch. The B string, X rigging ring. Then they finally got this goofy looking logo on it, which, whatever. So Notch got their name next to it. They bought them. Here's another one of them slings. So I used a fisherman knot, just a long deadeye sling. Fisherman knot, then I tape it so that I can see if it's starting to move. I've never had an issue, and I've used these quite a bit. They're quite old. But yeah, another big deadeye sling. So these are nice. I think you need stuff like this to run a, like, my OCD doesn't let me run a crappy looking rigging setup. I want a ring above the quarter wrap to make it go into the quarter wrap or the bollard perfect, like at a good rope angle. And I want to get the most out of the tree, so that may involve me spreading rings throughout the tree. As long as you're not rigging on them, a single small ring like this is perfect for redirects to get right rope angles and, you know, strengthen your rigging setup. So really good idea to have those. Now these are my big rings. This is the big setup. I don't use this a whole lot because it's just such a big setup. This is also Tylaska, so it's 2 of their large rings on a 15-foot deadeye sling. All I do usually is tie a knot, probably double wrap a lot of times. So I'll tie a knot and then go around once, go around twice, and then take the rings, put them through. It puts the sling on a bite with that double wrap and allows me to just put the knot wherever, and then I can make this as long as I need if I want to drop a little bit or however. One thing I was hearing the other day, say you wanted to, since this is so long, spread this throughout the tree. You could set this up, okay, and then use another union because of this sling being so long. So you can set this up over here, maybe on this one, and then because this is so long, you can take this and go put this up through like another crotch or union and rig with it backed up. So the problem with this kind of setup is that it's still going to move together. When if you had these rings here on their own and then another ring here, when the weight drops in, these two pieces will go together. But if you want like this from this one and then just ran it up through the crotch, it's still, because of the rope angle, it's going to pull this one this way. It's going to back it up a little bit. So it's not the same as running one ring to another, but it does help. So backing it up with another stem does help. The problem is this one is going to bend, and this can move too. So I mean, you can also wrap it around with like a half hitch. The problem is it's going to have that play, and depending on which way you want that branch to move, it may not be the best idea. It may be better to go ahead, run a single ring here, then run the rope here, then you change the rope route. It now goes over to this one, then to that one. So these two go like this, as opposed to I don't know if that makes sense, but what up, William? How are you, brother? Okay, so here's one of the new things that I find myself using a lot. So what this is the CMI rope jack. And what's nice about this and the bollard is I can set this up. I have the bollard set up. And all I need is a carabiner. And I can click this thing in. So all the other setups when it comes to lifting branches, I feel like they're a bit convoluted, overly done. I'm not the biggest fan. Like the GRCS is the cleanest, but it's outrageous with its price. So with this, I can easily come over, clip in, and now I don't have to have 17 wraps and then through the gear. The rope can be coming down here. I can take one wrap or two, however you want to do it. Usually I get one pull wrap, and then maybe I do two. Depending on how much weight. If it's a lot of weight, I'll do 2 wraps. So even with these 2 wraps, I can still get to pulling on this. And then I can hold my friction, which is really nice. So with this thing, you just open it up, go ahead and hook it in. It's midline attachable. And you're just basically climbing the rope and pulling it in, and you're taking in the slack, This will lift a lot, especially if I was to, instead of using rings, I decided to use a pulley up above me. It's going to give me a mechanical advantage. And this CMI rope jack can be used to pull trees over. I've seen guys use this to climb. You can actually climb up a tree with this thing. You just hook it up like that, and instead hook it to yourself, and then check, like it's 2 hand ascenders. They climb the rope together. See, one goes up, and then when you lift, it pulls the other one up, and then they just climb the rope. Like, such a good piece of tool. I didn't think I would use this as much as I do, but it's so nice. The only tricky part is learning how to attach it, making sure you got it, because it'll get flipped in weird positions. You're like, is that it? Nope, that's not it. You need these 2 chambered pieces. Right now they're opposite of each other. So you take it back around, and now they're in line with each other. So that's one of the tricky parts, just to get it set up. They hold open, which is super nice. A lot of stuff like that, the hand ascenders don't. So you could set it up. But the tricky part is you end up taking and adding a whole bunch of tension into the line, and then you need to disconnect it. So what you'll do is you'll pull down a little bit on this bottom one, so you can open it. And then the top one, you can lift, slide it and get it to open up. But it's a little tricky, but after you do it a couple times, super useful. The price difference with this setup, it's midline attachable, it's really quick. Hook it up, do the piece, lift the piece that you need, set it off to the side. It's not in the way the whole time. You have a solid, like, you could go from lifting limbs to rigging massive pieces on this thing, where I think even with the GRCS, it tells you that you should switch out to the bollard to do any major rigging. But yeah, CMI rope jack, well worth it. Great piece. Wish I would have had one years ago. Like I was stubborn. You know, I was like, well, if I need the pre-tension, I have a little trick that I do with a prusik and a micro pulley or a carabiner. Or like this thing. This is the one I used to use. I would use this. I would do a French brush where I wrap around and then put it into a bite, and then do 2 wraps around, go up through a pulley or a carabiner, and then I had like a 2-to-1 to pre-tension the line, but you're not lifting when you're doing that. You're just able to really pre-tension. So then I used a hand descender with a little micro pulley. I was able to pre-tension a little more. And I was like, whoa, I need a 5-to-1. So the other one I think is in my rigging bag because I wanted to make a rigging wrench, and I made one out of the other one with a GB ball or a GB tether and a rope wrench. So I made a rigging wrench on the other one. So, but this is a 5-to-1 setup. You know, it's just a couple double sheave pulleys, so you can set up a 5-to-1. Another use for the gree is for a capture at the very end of a 5-to-1 setup. You can hook the gree up, and it captures all the progress, and you can release too if you need. So there's that. It's another block, just an old block. A couple of these things. I don't even know what these things are. I bought them at a flea market or something. I don't know. Like sometimes when you're in a bucket or something, you need to clip extra stuff on. You can do that. I don't know what these are really for, but I've just bought them to buy them. So yeah, there's those. And my other stuff that you see at the bottom here, these are spider legs that I've either made. I have different lengths of spider legs. A couple that, like this one, I believe, has an actual sewn eye. Yeah. One of them has an actual sewn eye. I think it may be this one. Yeah, it is. So this one has a nice sewn eye. You do that same prusik knot, and it works really nice with these. Can I show that right now? I guess I could. So here's how it would work. So if you're trying to set up a spider leg, I'll do it with this other little piece I got here. So this is the same stuff. It's got a sewn eye in it. What you can do with it is go to your rigging rope. You take it and wrap it 4 to 5 times up. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5. And then you run the end of it through it. And so what it's going to do now is as you add load or tension onto this, it's going to pull those wraps together into a bite and is going to work as another arm to hold the piece. So imagine this is much longer. You're able to slide this up the rope, stretch it out to wherever you need, and clip it on, and then you tighten up, and then lower it down. I need more length here, but that's how I set up a spider leg. It's a very simple way of doing it, and in my opinion, it's the easiest way that there is, and it just comes out the cleanest. I mean, it's a simple knot where it grabs the loop and it pulls it down and puts that loop into a bite, and then you're able to adjust to however long you need it to be. With this setup, you could hang and be able to put different branches if you wanted to. I've gotten creative many times with stuff like this, and you can do a lot of things if you try a few advanced tricks. It may help you with something completely different that you've never thought about. So that's why I say always try to keep learning and keep going. And you gotta keep going. I should have gave up on this live feed about 4 live feeds ago. But yeah, if it wasn't for my guy Tim giving me a call, I would have never known. I would have wasted all my time. So shout out to Tim for being the homie and looking out, because I had absolutely no clue. So appreciate that. Well, guys, that is my rigging stuff. That is the stuff that, when it comes to rigging, that's what I reach for. This thing is just full of sawdust. Things need to be oiled, pulleys, greased, lots of stuff. And then, of course, there's a 5-hour energy and a pack of smokes. That's me in a box. Yeah, if you use a bollard, brother, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. The simplicity of it is so nice, and especially if you find yourself having to show people on the regular how to do it. It's perfect. It's so perfect. Like I said, I started my original live feed out saying shout out to Greg, and it's been a complete joy to be part of his journey, making these bollards, onto these winches. I mean, there's so many things. There's an axe in the background that he made me. There's tethers that are hanging on the wall for the rope wrench, and I used on the zigzag, and just, he's the man. He is the man. What up, Bo? Not a whole lot. I have an umbilical cord for you for your bucket. The strap. I meant to give it to you last time when I was down there, but I forgot. So it's got the fall rest in it, so it, I guess, breaks apart and then holds you. But yeah, I mean, if there was anything there as far as the rigging that somebody didn't understand, I guess now would be the time to ask a question. I could try to answer as best I can, but yeah, I didn't get a chance to do it in this video. Shout out to everybody that joins the memberships. That's $4.99 for a month, and I really liked the interview I just did with Buck and Billy Ray. So all my content goes over there. I do these live feeds every week, and then the shorts and stuff. So maybe eventually we can, if I discuss it with my members and they're okay with it, maybe I put a video every once in a while over onto the channel. Start from the earliest one on members and kind of work my way here. But yeah, I appreciate all the members. You guys are definitely keeping me going. But yeah, after 4 tries, we ended up getting it there. But yeah, I was so burnt out and pissed off that we just went through rigging stuff. That was enough. I needed to do that, so it was kind of fun discussing it with you guys, and it's been nice having so many. I feel like I may have every kind of rigging ring that there is. Maybe there's a company that I haven't tried, but I think for the most part, the Fiore ring. That's the only one I haven't got, and it's a B string, but even bigger. So it would be like this safe block, but like if the safe block was a single ring, and that would be crazy to have one like this, but if it was a single ring. So here's something I'm going to do very soon. I think I'm going to take something like this, hook it up, undo the knot, I wonder if I could do it with the I could probably do it with the Deadeye sling. It may work. But I'm curious. I'd never thought about it until today. Maybe I could take this, pass it through, make this sling. I'm gonna do this too. So we're gonna hook it up like this. I may have to use a different sling to do it because I don't know if the knot will get to it or no, it'll work. So we take this sling, we hook up once through one of the rings, they release like that. Then we can take this other end, put it up over a branch, and then anchor it back. However we want to tie it. And then now we're able to, this is the biggest bend radius. So then we could rig like this through that channel. I wonder if it starts to be bad. If your bend radius gets so wide and so wide in this direction that it becomes a bad thing. And this would be like the only way I could think to test it would be to use something like this. Because like this, I can take it and have it hooked up, find that middle point with it, and then be able to double it and throw it over a branch and hook it like even a smaller branch. And I can hook it up with a girth hitch like that and then rig off of it. Yeah, or I could, or you just wear it as a Flava Flav necklace. Damn, that's how I should have went to TCIA. The safe block hanging off my neck. I'm a tree guy. Look at me. I used this before. It rigged off of it like this through the sitter. That works good. That works really good actually. And I think Tylaska has a safe block. I don't know if they came out with it yet, but I think they did. But I seen as they were developing it, they sent me photos where it's a 3-hole lowering device, but it has a 4th hole above it so that you can hook up slings like this and be able to hold it at a point and not have that, because with a lot of slings, when you hook them up, it'll do like a twisting in it because it's the points of friction in it. It'll get to kind of twisting at times, and so they came up with this way where it's got the 4th ring or the 4th hole, so you can use it and then still weave it throughout the other 3. So I think Tylaska makes it. It should have, maybe it has 4 holes instead of the 3. Yeah, it's kind of like this thing that I picked up. Now, I only bought this as a joke so that I could razz the guy that made these, the guy that came up with rigging rings, David. So I bought this thing. I took a really close-up picture and was like, because look at this up close. If in the right angle, I'm like, brother, they already took your ideal and one-upped you. And I had it hooked up on a sling. And he was like, where'd you get that? What is that? And I'm like, what? And so I showed him. But it's a rope anchor. Maybe for roofing or something. But you just weave it throughout. You can always like weave a few times and then put like a stopper knot so that you're fully anchored. You can't go anywhere. But yeah, you would just take this thing and hook it up to a sling, like a speed line strap, hook it there. And I've rigged off this, but I mean, if a rigging ring is a bad bend radius, this is a really bad, sharp bend radius. So that's a popular rock climbing device. Really, I bought this at Northern Tool Supply for a few bucks. It was really cheap. Yeah, it says use 5/8 to 3/4 inch 16 to 19 millimeter or approved ropes only. And I would think the reasoning for that is because of it being such a sharp bend radius. A smaller rope is it's just bad. So they have like some little visuals on it. If you see, if I can get the glare, see that right there? They show a way to like knot it up somehow, but it's kind of worn out. So it's a weird thing. I used it, and I ran my rope up through. Did to that one. It had a 3 for like a safe block, but yeah, there's for tree rigging that's unnecessary. I thought maybe one day I could use it for like a trolley, so you have a clip in and a clip in here for micro pulleys to be able to use for a controlled speed line or something. So just keep searching, brother. Just keep poking into every one of them. Eventually you'll find it. That's what I did. Well, guys, I think that's all I got. I have pages of violations for this week, and I am so aggravated at the whole thing. How is it like the whole thing that yeah, I'm over it. I'm over it. We're not doing violations this week. Episode 103 was me going through rigging gear, and tell you what, we'll see if I keep these going. This one may have made my decision for me. I don't really like how this one played out, if I'm being honest. Oh my. Alright, well, guys, I will catch you next time. Have a good weekend. Have a safe work week. And I may just take some time off. So if I don't see you before Christmas, have a very Merry Christmas. Hope everybody gets what they want. Hope you guys stay safe. And yeah, this was cool. But that's all my rigging gear, so it ain't like I have more videos like this to make. So I'll catch you next time. Stay safe, and yeah, don't be lame on the internet. There's enough of that. Bunch of main character syndrome, mother. See you guys.